p.m. I will announce the meeting is being recorded. Let's do roll call.
All right, Director Brent.
Here.
Director Palat.
Here.
Director Hobart.
Here.
Director Carmichael.
Here.
Director Topliff.
Here.
And Director Seacrest.
Here.
Director Desher will be here soon.
Okay, before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the Chumash people who are the traditional custodians of this land. We pay our respects to the Chumash elders, past, present, and future, who call this place, Aniscoyo, the land that Isla Vista sits upon, their home. We are proud to continue their tradition of coming together and growing as a community. We thank the Chumash community for their stewardship and support, and we look forward to strengthening our ties as we continue our relationship of mutual respect and understanding. We're going to move to the consent agenda. Do any directors have items they'd like to pull? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda with a note that I think that the graphics for the outreach campaign are really lovely. Nice job.
I concur.
All right, motion made by Topliff, and I think that was a second.
Yes, I second the
from
motion
Carmichael.
and your appreciation of the graphics.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of is it the frog?
King of the
Big fan.
Toad.
The lighthearted
The
approach.
toad. Oh,
The
I
toad,
get it.
yes.
I get it.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. Is there any public comment on the motion? Seeing none, let's do roll call vote.
Director Brent.
Yes.
Director Carmichael.
Yeah.
Hobart.
Yes.
Palat.
Here.
Topliff.
Yes.
And Seacrest.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. We're going to move now to the public comment period. This is the time for any member of the public to speak on any matter that is not on tonight's agenda. If you have comments on something that is on the agenda, we'll address that in each individual item. Any members of the public with a request to speak? Anything online?
No.
Right. I'm going to close the public comment period, and we're going to move to item 4, memorandum of understanding with the County of Santa Barbara for parking compliance program.
Okay, and I'll present 4.1 and 4.2 together. They have the same staff report and they go together. So we are recommending approval and authorization to sign a memorandum of understanding for a parking compliance program in Isla Vista and a loan agreement, both with the County of Santa Barbara and both with the parking compliance program. For Isla Vista Community Services District, we had a parking action plan published last year. And one of the first next steps outlined in that plan is to establish a parking compliance program in Isla Vista. And one of the main check marks or to-do list for that program to be established was to establish agreements with the County of Santa Barbara to formally delegate authority to the IVCSD to be able to enforce parking in Isla Vista. So the County of Santa Barbara owns the streets, the roads, the sidewalks, all the public infrastructure in Isla Vista, and the IVCSD has the authority to manage parking at parking places, but we need to be delegated the authority to manage the parking at these specific parking places owned by another agency. And so that's what both of these agreements would do or would help enable us to do. I'll just go over the fiscal impact before giving some more detail on them. There is a fiscal impact to the district. It's $13,442 with the loan agreement. We might generate interest ourselves, so we don't know exactly what the fiscal impact might end up being, but we know that it'll cost us $13,442 in interest, but that will go directly back into the parking fund for future parking needs. And we also have reserves to help operate the program in case we're not able to have ticket revenue cover the loan payments, but we don't think this is a risk because of what our parking consultant has advised when we were doing the study, that we should be able to have enough ticket revenue to cover the loan agreement. And we are going to present a lot more details on what the Isla Vista Community Services District implementation plan is going to be at the next board meeting. So today we're just approving the agreements with the county, but at the next meeting, we'll talk about the program details more, a budget for the program, and the staff job descriptions and organizational charts. So those are all still coming. Just on the overview of the agreement, what it does essentially, again, is delegate authority to the IVCSD to enforce parking restrictions in the county rights of way. It does give us authority to set ticket prices and enforcement procedures, warnings, all policies for the program. We just need to give the county a copy of, what our policies are, how we're running the program, but it does provide us that discretion to set ticket prices and a ticket, a way that works for our community. It is for 5 years and 2 additional terms of 5 years. We are gonna not be adding new parking restrictions. We are gonna be focusing on enforcing existing restrictions under the vehicle code and county codes. And that is essentially the MOU, is that we're gonna be doing those things. We may have to do another agreement on towing with the sheriff's office, because we do need a relationship with law enforcement on handling towing, since we still wouldn't have the authority under this to tow. So this is just for parking enforcement of tickets, with tickets. And then the loan agreement, it's $300,000 for a 2-year period. And it is, I'm pulling up the repayment plan right here, but there is a repayment plan where we'll have to make payments on a quarterly basis to the county. And again, what our consultant, they didn't get to review this specific schedule of payments. But what we've been told is a parking program that's set up in Isla Vista should be able to be self-sufficient, and self-sufficient would mean being able to pay this loan at this point, because it should be matching the cost of the program. And so those are the 2 agreements, and these are very critical agreements. We could not run a parking program without both of these being executed. We do need the authority, and the startup funds will help make sure that we have what we need to do the one-time costs needed for the program, hire the staff, and get it off the ground. Especially since we'll have to hire staff, before we are writing tickets, as we train people and get the system going. That's the presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Jonathan. And I want to thank Eleanor Gardner and Mustafa Asaji for joining us, and offer you any further context you'd like to share.
I'll just start by thanking all of you, all of the community members who provided such invaluable input as this program got developed. The county was really involved in the parking study along with UCSD, and just again appreciate the partnership here to bring it to where it is today. Here to answer any questions. Obviously, parking has been a long-standing need, an issue in Isla Vista, and we're just really happy to see this come to fruition today.
And just quick add on to that, we're happy that we were able to finally come up with this agreement. It was not an easy process, but I think it will mutually be beneficial for both of us. So we're happy to see that it started, and also we're happy to support the future steps of the work. I'm sure this is the starting point. There will be some future updates about what needs to be made, and as you mentioned, like the towing and some help with the sheriff. So we're here to support for the rest of the county as well.
Excellent. Thank you for those comments. I'll bring it to the board for any questions from the board.
Are we doing this all in one go, all of our parking stuff?
Well, let's take the, I know the presentations on both of them, but let's take the MOU first.
Okay. I have a series of questions. Let me know if I'm getting into the wrong topic. Okay, so first is about interest payments. Could you describe a little bit more how that would work and like where that money would go towards?
So the interest will just be paid with the principal at the same time. So we have this list of dates we have to make payments, so it'll just be bundled in with it. We generate the interest on a slightly different timeline, so that's why I'm saying we won't know what our interest that we generate from this is until next June. But we'll pay it starting from October 1st. And it's going back into the Isla Vista Parking and Loop Fees Fund, which is a special fund that developers in Isla Vista paid into, 15 years ago. And so the interest will just be added on to the lump sum in there.
Okay. Perfect. So in the MOU, I saw that we can only enforce parking on county right of way for 5 years and then renew for a total of 10 years.
2 terms of, so 15 years total.
Okay. Do we have a plan after that time expires? Well, like,
I
what
don't
would
think
parking
we-
enforcement
I mean,
look like?
15 years out, I don't think.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's too far.
It's too far.
Too far. Alrighty. And then this one, sorry, that's for the loan agreement. Yeah, no, those are all my MOU questions. The rest are for the loan agreement. Thanks.
Okay, other questions from the board? Go ahead, Director Hobart.
I just wanted to clarify, so since it's under like IVCSD now, does that just mean that like anything that we choose to do with the enforcement is something that we can make decisions on without having to get county approval?
In terms of like how the program operates itself, that's what this says, that we do have, the ability to design the program and operate it how we think is best. But we do need to provide the county with copies of all the operational policies, as requested.
Mhm.
But things like ticket prices, we'd be able to set ticket prices, things like the priority of, how we prioritize issues with the limited resources we have. That's, up to us.
Can I just add one
Yeah.
context point? But obviously, like any, we can speak more to this in detail, but any county ordinances, parking ordinances, California Vehicle Code, that is under the purview
Right.
of.
Siri.
That is part of the enforcement program. So anything that, the outreach, the messaging, all of that, how you go about ticketing, that's all with you guys. But it has to be under
Yeah.
the jurisdiction of what's already out there in terms of ordinances and what might be developed in the future by the county as well for future ordinances.
So we're not making rules with this. We're just enforcing the existing.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, just for sake of flow, I'll ask any questions on the loan agreement.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I may have interpreted this or read this incorrectly, but in the loan agreement, it said that the county could drop out of the agreement for convenience purposes.
Where is that in the agreement?
Here, let me ask you a second question, then I'll get that one. So also in the loan agreement, on point 29, survival clause. Could you talk to me a little bit more about what that is, what it does, and what it's for? I just haven't seen a survival clause in like an agreement before.
Alyssa, would you be able to answer this, please?
Yes, sorry, let me just pull it up. Yes, these clauses are usually put in certain contracts, so this is kind of more a boilerplate provision that's provided in some contracts. So any provision that's intended to survive the termination just survives if it expires. So I'm trying to think of a good example of that with parking enforcement, but that shouldn't affect the overall agreement. And it doesn't mean that after the expiration date of the agreement that the Isla Vista can continue through this agreement. Would have to probably after the 15-year term either have a new agreement or an amendment.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you. And then I did find it was on the loan agreement Reparking District 2025 document. It's on the bottom of page 5, number 15, subsection A. County may, in its sole discretion, terminate this loan agreement for convenience by giving 30 days prior written notice to borrower.
I think that's just standard language.
Okay.
Most contracts now.
Okay, and our attorney is pretty standard language.
Our
To see that.
attorney reviewed it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, that's typically standard, a termination clause for 30 days with written notice. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board on the loan agreement? Or can I see one down there? No? Okay. My question is more philosophical for staff, which is that I know one of the things that was expressed to us was not wanting to create a situation where the district is in a place where we feel that we have to write tickets in order to cover a loan payment.
Mhm.
What protections are in there to try to avoid that? And how does it interact with the $300,000 that we're putting towards the program?
I guess there's two answers to that. One is the money that we have in our reserves. That's part of its use, is if we have to make a loan payment and we're not, the ticket revenue isn't covering the loan payment, we definitely use that to cover the loan payment and meet the obligation there. We also, at least, are making the loan payments on like a quarterly basis, so we would be judging the program's operations as it goes. So that's a hard answer because we don't know how it's gonna go if it's not going well, or there's not tickets being written. But we would at least have a quarterly lead time to make decisions. So if things are really going poorly, we can try to do better in another quarter, cover our bases. But if there's a pattern, we'd have to come back to the board and say, we're not able to meet these loan obligations potentially. That's likely not going to happen, but that's what we would do. Is if we weren't meeting it for a quarter or two, we'd come back and we'd have to make a decision at that point, because at that point the board would have to say, do we want to allocate ongoing resources to subsidize the program because we want it to exist, or do we not want to do this anymore because we couldn't afford it? But that would be a decision we'd have to make based on whatever the problem is. Is it because there's not enough violations, to write tickets on? That's maybe a good thing though, right? Because it means success that there's no violations. We're not out here to write tickets. We're out here to make sure that there's health and safety violations not happening with parked cars. So we'd have to really just know what the problem is at the time and then make a decision on how we want to cover it, either by subsidizing or scaling down or discontinuing or a combination.
And so I guess what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of off ramps before we would ever get to a situation like that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'd have time.
Yeah, that's helpful to know. Yeah. And let the record reflect that Director Deschler has joined us. Thank you for being here.
I'm sorry, you all are very important, and I was at a Nobel laureate function. You're not really important, but I couldn't leave.
Fair enough.
Give me a couple
Congratulations
seconds.
to our new laureates.
Yeah.
We'll have to honor them with something.
Yes.
Okay, we are in the question portion. Are any other questions from the board? Okay, seeing any public comment on this item? Anything online? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board and just share my gratitude and thanks to the county for all the work that you've done to get this agreement and the MOU to where it's at today. I mean, I think back to sitting in this room 10 years ago when I was a student. And one of the things that made me, I was just like our photographer in the back of the room from a publication. That was my job. I was taking pictures, but I started to stay for these meetings because of the topic of parking, because it was so self-evidently a challenge that our community is facing. And it was like this tangible thing that we could solve if we had local government for our community that was willing to take up and dive headfirst into the things that are difficult. And I remember those conversations. There was a lot of idealism. There was a lot of sort of like, this belief that if we just thought hard enough about the parking problem, we could solve it. And while I still have some of that idealism, I think that what I've also known from serving here now for almost 10 years is that we have to start somewhere. And starting somewhere means starting by just enforcing the law. We've gone too long without having that in our community, and it has caused a lot of challenges. So I'm so excited that we're going to enter a new era this year and begin to actually address some of these challenges in partnership. And I just thank you for the county support in getting to where we are so that we can get started. So I'm going to be happy to support these. Any other comments from board members?
Well,
Director Deschler.
I joined late, but I just wanted to say that getting here has been a huge effort on behalf of many people. And our community really weighed in and provided a lot of guidance. And the staff of IVCSD has really just spearheaded this absolutely amazing project and entered into this new era. And it's so exciting. And I just want to just really acknowledge that this has taken a lot of initiative, a lot of creativity, and a lot of hard work. And it really just could not have happened without the staff, the county staff, as well as IVCSD staff and your leadership. So I just really want to thank all of you for what you've done. Spencer, countless meetings, Jonathan, Sydney, all of you, you've done a really tremendous job. And so I think this is a real milestone for our young district. So kudos to all.
Any other comments from the board? All right, well, if I'm not seeing any of them, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Just don't forget to close public comment period.
Oh, okay, I'm closing public comment here. Okay, well, we're taking up the first item, which is the loan agreement.
So MOUs.
Or sorry, the MOU.
I'll move to approve the MOU with county for parking enforcement and not consent.
Made by Topliff. Is there a second?
I will second.
I just want to note, we did upload a slightly updated version earlier today, but it was just adding the fact that we have the oversight over the ticket prices and things like that. But it was just a line that was in the loan agreement that we moved to this one, and it was added earlier today.
Okay, thank you for stating that for the record. It's important. Motion from Topliff, seconded by Carmichael. We closed public comment. Let's do roll call vote.
Director Brandt,
Yes.
Carmichael,
Yes.
Hobart,
Yes.
Plot,
Yes.
Topliff,
Yes.
Seapost,
Yes.
Deschler.
Yes.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Now, I'll entertain a motion on the loan agreement.
I'll move to approve the loan agreement with the county of Santa Barbara.
Okay, made by Topliff. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carmichael. Okay, let's do roll call vote.
Director Brandt,
Yes.
Carmichael,
Yes.
Hobart,
Yes.
Plot,
Yes.
Seapost,
Yes.
Yeah.
Deschler.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you all back next board meeting
board.
for a discussion about the details. Okay, we're going to move to item 4.3, Ivy Safe agenda preview for the October meeting.
All right, let me get that pulled up. So Ivy Safe is tomorrow, which I know is like short notice, but we had an unusually large gap between board meetings because of Tuesdays and calendars. But Ivy Safe, the number one topic that's going to be on the agenda is Deltopia 2026. So just like it was in August, and it's important that this group of different, community and safety stakeholders and decision makers, policymakers has been talking about this early. So we talked about it in August. There's been a lot that's happened in between different groups since then. And at this meeting, we're going to be reviewing the data that's been collected so far. There's more to collect, but data on Deltopia from 2010 to 2025. We're going to hear about the proposed updates to the county festival ordinance from Lieutenant Schmidt. We're going to talk about our sanctioned event update and what we're thinking for that currently, and then just have an overall discussion on Deltopia 2026 and how we can collaborate more as different agencies to have a more successful day. I think what we're trying to talk about as success is spending less and less medical issues, less arrests and citations, things that are not good for our community. So that's the agenda, and it should be a pretty lively discussion for 75 minutes. And then UCSB Student Health and Wellbeing are going to be presenting some updates in that division on services provided for students. That's the meeting.
Okay, thank you for the update, Jonathan. Any questions from the board?
Who are our attendants?
So I will be in attendance. I believe Director Deschler will be in attendance, and I think that we have one more that we need to appoint for this meeting.
Dr. Platts usually the.
Yes, I was until I got a last minute quiz
Oh,
in one of
okay.
in the class that I was
Shoot.
planning on skipping. I know.
Oh,
I
no.
was- Yeah.
Like skipping the class.
I was a little
It's
disappointed
at,
because I was excited. to visit
noon
them.
to 2 p.m., but it's really 12:30 to 2.
12:30 So I have a class that I'm a TA for, so
Okay, you're out.
contractually have to be there. But I also want to be, if you're watching.
Tomorrow,
Yes.
I can go.
Is it necessary that we have another
Yeah.
person? It is necessary.
It's not necessary, no.
Oh, it's not
It's
necessary,
good.
okay, yeah,
But
okay,
you have, 2 spots.
yeah.
Oh, no, I can't go. No, no, no.
It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, I can't go, sorry.
It's the-
okay, so we won't appoint an alternate for this meeting. We'll just keep it to me and Director Deschler. And
And I wear 2 hats, so,
understand.
and you just have to tell me which hat I'm wearing, or if
Okay.
I can have 2 hats.
Well, you are, I think, wearing UCSB's hat, but it doesn't matter for our purposes
Okay,
because of
cool.
the way the
I'll
brown.
give you a hat with my name.
Perfect, okay. I could be Edward.
I like that. Just a question for Jonathan. So are we gonna get a presentation from the county sheriff's office, or is this just a discussion on Deltopia planning?
It's just, we're not gonna get like a slideshow, I think. We're just
Okay.
gonna hear about proposed updates and concept.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
And I want to say thank you to you because I understand you've invited some folks from associate students to make sure that they're in the room, done some additional outreach. So
Yeah.
appreciate that.
We'll have a lot of students there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions on the IVC
I
agenda?
wanted to ask, do we envision that there will be a smaller working group created? And if so, is that something that would come out of Ivy Safe, or is that something maybe the sheriff or county supervisor or
Yeah,
someone else will spearhead? I just wonder if there's gonna be a smaller working group.
it
on
did,
Deltopia
it did
Planning.
come up last time in August.
Uh-huh.
And so, we haven't had that happen yet. We've all kind of met separately,
Yeah,
but that should be something that should come up. Like, if that's something you think is important,
Yeah.
we'll make sure to bring it up as CSD tomorrow.
I think it's important, every year we say, oh, if we'd only started earlier. And
Mhm.
this year we're starting earlier, so it's great, but it's only great if there's an outcome of having a smaller
Yeah.
working group, I think.
Mm.
Right.
It talks regularly,
Right.
not the upcoming months.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I know we talked about that during the post-Deltopia Ivy Safe. About like wanting to try to bring people together. I feel like that's really important, and especially trying to emphasize like people from different perspectives, like maybe having at least a student or 2 on that, like collaborating as well, just because I feel like there's a lot of adults in the mix, with Deltopia and everything, the impacts that it does have. So I think it's good to try to maybe emphasize that there should be some younger students as well involved in that. That's you?
Most
Yeah.
certainly.
Yeah, if it works for, yeah, I mean, I would be interested, but,
But perhaps more students than just one.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is all good feedback, and I know that Lieutenant Schmidt has been leading a lot of the outreach just because the sheriff's office is proposing some pretty significant changes for Deltopia for this year. So I know that when I met with him, I really encouraged him to kind of follow the lead of former Lieutenant Tesla in terms of bringing people together in one place, sort of one committee to talk about these things. I think that process worked really well in 2022 when they proposed some ordinance changes. And so we can certainly reiterate that feedback. Okay, any other questions or comments on the Ivy Safe agenda? Okay, seeing none, this is an informational item, so I believe we have no action on this. Nope. Okay, we're gonna go to reports briefly. Any reports from members of the board? I will just share what I just shared is that Jonathan and I had a chance to meet with Lieutenant Schmidt about some ordinance changes that we're going to talk about tomorrow at Ivy Safe in regards to changes to the festival noise ordinance. And so I anticipate that there will be some additional outreach. Lieutenant Schmidt has indicated that he would like to host a town hall for the community regarding some festival noise ordinance changes. And the tentative date that we have set with him is Wednesday, November 12th at 5 p.m. I anticipate that we will have an item on the board agenda on Tuesday, the 18th to consider a position on the ordinance changes. So that proposal is moving. Wanted to give everyone the notice.
Sorry, what date was that for us to take a position?
That would be the 18th. Do I have that right, Jonathan?
18th of
okay.
October, November.
November.
Yeah, because the meeting with him would be on the 12th.
Sure.
The town hall.
That's correct. In addition to that, he asked me to share that he is doing Coffee with a Cop on Thursday, the 16th. That is October 16th. So this Thursday from 9 to 11 at Starbucks with Colby Carroll, the community resource deputy.
And which Starbucks is this?
The one at Ivy.
Oh,
Do they buy coffee?
That's a good question. I don't know.
it is a good question.
Actually, I don't know the answer to that.
I think so.
Do you think so?
I also just want to celebrate one of our local businesses. Mesa Pizza had the chance to open last Saturday. The business owners are some that have been very involved in trying to organize other Isla Vista businesses. They've been longtime participants in the community. And this is just really significant and exciting to see more commercial businesses opening, more places for people to gather, for people to have a drink, to give options for 21-year-olds plus to go and be able to hang out in a place that's for them, that is away from the residential area where we experience neighborhood issues. So was really excited because they are really bought in on that vision for the community. End of my report.
Yeah, I just have some informal stuff that our move-in tabling events went awesome. I had the opportunity to work and meet Caleb and Ellie, who were both, and Labney, all three were sensational. Yeah, we got a lot of really good engagement. People were excited to hear about our services. The Support Your Local Dirt was by far our most popular. Everyone was obsessed with that. Yeah, especially the sunset and services over by Deb's Beach. I think that one went really well. We were kind of catching people who we might not have otherwise caught on Pardal. We even got some, long-term residents who were excited to see we were out there. Pardal, we got more students. But yeah, excited for more tabling, and people were very engaged with our services. So it was a good sign.
All right, thank you for that report. Any other reports from the board?
I was scheduled to attend the IVRPD regular meeting last week and they canceled it. So I did not.
Okay, thank you for that report. Anything else? Okay. This is also the time, I believe, when we will consider approving attendance at other public meetings, events, or public hearings. And I think we have one that is a floating one, which is the Elected Leaders Forum on Housing and Homelessness, which is this Friday from 9 to 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. Is anyone interested in attending?
Sorry, this was this Friday?
Yes. It's a great opportunity to
what time
hear about 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Friday the 17th.
Yeah, I can push back my office hours. I can attend that.
Okay,
Do you want to appoint anybody for the county board meeting next week?
that is a great question.
Or I don't know who's, from the board wanted to go and speak in public comment, because that's allowed to appoint someone to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that is going to be necessary. I believe I'm available and will come by just to say a very brief thanks, because are we on consent?
It's on consent. I imagine Supervisor Capps will pull just to highlight it. it looks right now like a pretty short consent agenda, but a very lengthy and meaty departmental agenda. But obviously all are welcome to attend.
Okay.
Join public comment.
Message received. We'll be brief.
Yeah. And then you could send some people to IVCN because it's a public meeting. IV Community Network is this Thursday. So it's a public event. So you could technically appoint a board member to attend for a
Okay.
day of service.
I am planning to attend IVCN, which is, can you say for the record what time that is?
It's a 12 to 1:30 on Thursday at the community center.
If you can't attend, I can be your alternate or.
And you can have multiple.
We can,
Oh,
yeah, we can have.
multiple? Okay.
I'll be attention,
Okay, I can.
but I don't, I'll attend at UCSB, so
Okay.
I save money.
No day of service, yeah.
No, you don't need to pay me. I'll do it out of the generosity.
I can attend that because I'm been
Okay.
interested in that meeting. So
Okay.
looked it up.
Anyone else interested?
Can you repeat the date?
This is this Thursday at noon.
And what was the meeting again? Sorry, I missed it.
This is the Isla Vista Community Network meeting on waste and
Clean and green, climate and
Yes.
waste,
Hmm.
things like that.
And I was interested on the Friday morning meeting on homelessness and housing. Can you say anything more about that?
Yeah, it's
And
I've gone to it. I'm not going this Friday because I have a day off, but it is a 2 to 3 hour meeting sometimes. It's hosted by the county and they have elected officials from across the county attending. So it's like you're with elected officials from lots of different agencies all in one Brown Act notice meeting. So it's interesting, not a lot like it. And they talk about different, agenda items relating to homelessness in the area. So
Is this the one that you did, Spencer?
I've attended this in the past.
But you didn't run this.
No, this is not, that's good.
an in-person meeting or?
on Zoom.
And that was scheduled from 9 to 10:30, but could potentially go for hours.
I
I mean, that's okay. I
It
mean,
is, it's
Sign
like
me
a
up.
2 hour block.
I think
Okay.
they're usually pretty good about
Yeah.
keeping the time.
Okay. I was like, I do have the time.
And do I need to sign up or just get a link?
The board just needs to appoint you now and I'll send you the link.
Okay. Will you appoint me?
Yes, okay, so we're appointing
You have to make motions. Yeah.
Carrie and Kathleen to elected leaders appointment on, or elected leaders forum on homelessness. We're appointing
Sorry,
Catherine,
Jonathan.
myself.
I don't know, it might just be for me, but I can't hear a thing.
Oh,
Oh, can you hear us now?
We can hear you.
I can hear on my end, but so I don't know if it's something else.
I'll text her.
Okay.
Is it 4 a.m. in France?
yeah, probably.
Oh, this is cool.
I know. We're moving, I'm trying to move us fast.
No, I know, but I mean, we would have to be like hours ago to accommodate her schedule. We should
I
be,
know.
like meeting at 1 p.m.
It's the power of youth.
That's true.
Any luck?
I haven't heard back from about text.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh wait, sorry, I got it to
Oh,
work.
she's checking her connection. She's got.
Yay,
Okay,
perfect.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm entertaining a motion to appoint Director Topliff and Director Carmichael to elected leaders forum on homelessness for this meeting. Myself, Director Carmichael, and who is the third for IVCN?
I'm going, but I'm just
Not as a
going
day of service.
not
Okay.
as a- not as a-
Okay, will anyone make that motion?
It's written.
It's written,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, I guess I made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Palat.
I have a question. How does that work on the Brown Act stuff?
For public meetings, you are allowed to have, as long as it's cleared like this.
Okay.
That's why you're doing this.
Okay, so it's okay, all 3 of us,
Yeah.
and we can talk amongst ourselves?
You shouldn't.
Okay, no
I
talking
mean, you
amongst
should
ourselves.
decide on the topics, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can be at a public meeting where
Okay.
issues are being discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, with that, let's do roll call vote.
Okay, and we're doing it as one motion, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so,
It's messy.
no, it's okay, it's okay. It's our first time doing this, it's a new process for us. Director Brent,
Yes.
Carmichael,
Yes.
Deschler,
Yes.
Hobart,
Yes.
Palat,
Yes.
Topliff,
Yes.
Seapost.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Moving on, reports from standing and ad hoc committees.
Policy committees next week,
Yeah.
Policy is?
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We'll have, yeah, right before this one.
I love those meetings.
Okay. Moving on to report from district council.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, thank you, council. And I just want to give a special shout out to you, Alyssa, and your team for jumping right in. I bet you didn't expect that when you got this assignment that it would be like the 2 weeks of all the crazy stuff happening. So I really appreciate all of your help and getting down to it.
Thank you, that's what we're here for.
All right. Report from GM.
All right, well, yeah, I wanted to thank the board members that helped with the move-in tabling and outreach. I saw a lot of you guys out there. I had a good time as well, myself. And we do have tote bags for you all to, same stuff we've been giving out during move-in tabling, but it's our new tote bags, our move-in magazine, and our new brochure. So great new ways to communicate what we do to people. We've done a big revamp this year, I think I've mentioned. So you'll get a copy of those. A lot of the time in the last 3 weeks has been really revolving around the parking program setup and the discussions we've had around Deltopia. So those have been the number 2 main focuses. And then number 3 is the IVCN meeting we're having this Thursday, which we will send the data out to everybody afterwards. But we have been doing based on our IVCSD strategic plan that we put together of like the things we think are important for our neighborhoods. We've been doing this to collect the data from all the different agencies that serve Isla Vista on this topic of waste and cleanliness and green, environmental protection. So it's gonna be a lot of information that's never been collected all in one place before, and it's been a big project. So Sydney's been leading that, and Jenna's working on it too. But it's gonna be huge for us, and we're gonna be doing more of these, of collecting data, how the system works here in Isla Vista. On a sad note, this next Tuesday, I'm going to attend Sarah McNeil, who was our rental housing mediator for 8 years. He passed away in July. So I was invited to join his celebration of life downtown. In terms of parking, just some details on what we have happening next week. It's the Board of Supervisors to approve the same agreements. October 28th, our board will look at the budget adjustments and all the different details for the program implementation, the job descriptions. We have our parking conference coming up, so 3 of us will be gone for pretty much a week, Sunday through Thursday, to attend that. And I also just attended the Center for Parking Policy meeting at UCLA last week. That was great, learned a lot and got the book on parking, and we'll be looking through it. And Julie Dixon was one of the co-authors of that book. So yeah, I saw her there and met a lot of people in the parking world. And Jenna went to the California Clean Mobility Conference as well. So we've been going out there trying to learn as much as possible to do a good job here, and having a lot of meetings with agencies. So we met with Carpinteria most recently because they run a parking program in-house as well. So we've been, like I said, doing so much on parking and Deltopia and one last thing I have to update on, which is, one of our requirements is whenever we get a Public Records Act request, we have to, report it at the board meeting. So we did get one on all our records for 6625 Del Playa. So we had some, because that address had been discussed in some of our communications on cliff safety in the past. So we are collecting the records and we'll be responding, shortly this week. That's it.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Any questions for Jonathan?
How big is the book on parking?
That was a short book.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a pretty wide range.
It's a collection of essays on different parking topics. And so there's some pretty interesting stuff in there. So
Is this the book called The High Cost of Free Parking?
no, that's the original book. That's what
Okay.
Donald Shoup, who's the, patron saint of this center, he passed away this year. But this book is called The Shoup Doctrine, which is all of his students over time, Julie being one of them, who wrote essays on parking.
That's awesome. Well, I know what you told me is that you were pitching everyone you met about using IB as a laboratory for studies. So I'm really excited. I hope that we get some bites on that.
Hopefully.
Okay, we're going to close reports and we're going to go recess closed session. This is general manager evaluation under government code 54957B1. Thanks, everyone. Will reconvene in approximately 15 minutes.
Cool. Oh. We're giving ourselves a time. We're beginning.
You know, I always try to do that, but I
You
think
do?
that's the
I've
first
never
time.
noticed it. I've never, no.
Oh, that's my favorite thing I've
I've said it
heard.
at least once more. Oh, thank you. Right. Okay, we are reconvening from closed session. Council, can you report out, please?
Yes, thank you. The board met in closed session pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957B1 to discuss the general manager evaluation. No reportable action was taken. That concludes my report.
Okay,
Thank you.
our next meeting will take place on October 28th, right here in the community room. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good night.
Let's